I came into the studio to experiment, and this is what happened. Hi everybody. I'm just going to play for a while here in the studio, and I thought I would just start in the large dilutions journal, and I'm just going to play with some backgrounds and then create something on top. So I'm going to see how these have these Vicky Bouton pigment powders, and I'm just gonna have a play here and see what happens. I'm going to sprinkle some on, and then I'm going to spray them with some water. We'll see what this does. I just have water in my continuous spray bottle. And I'm just going to give it all a good spritz and let it move. You see, when I'm too close, kind of pushes the powder, which isn't the best if you're trying to keep everything separated. But it does need to be mixed up, so should have just put it on one side and then I could have closed the book, but I didn't. I'm going to get some of that water out of there right now though. Mop up some of these wetter puddles. This will be pretty. You see where the orange and green started to mix. It's kind of brown right there, which is what I didn't want to do. There, that orange was not mixed up. I'm just going to do that, kind of mix it on the baby wipe. I kind of like that. Kind of a smushed look. Yeah, let's do that some more. Get a cleaner spot. There's more powder right there that didn't get totally mixed up. I had just too much. I like this look though. Alright, I'm going to get another wet baby wipe and then just start going into the blue and the green, and we'll move that around. And I'm just kind of dabbing and twisting. That's kind of pretty, don't you think? It was fast too. Let's give that a dry. Okay, some is coming off on my hand when I rub across there, so I am going to give it a spray of fixative to keep it looking like this, and when it's dry then I'm going to do another layer. Okay, this is dry. I did 2 coats of the Spectra fixative. This is great because it's no smell, it's all natural, non-toxic, so you can spray it inside and it should not bother you at all. So I am trusting that this is fixed So what I'm going to try next is a coat of fluid matte medium, hoping that it's not gonna, it is still moving, isn't it? No, that's alright. It is what it is. It's an experiment. It's making it really soft, more like watercolors, but I want it pretty wet because I'm going to sprinkle more powder on here and see what it just does on top of the matte medium. And I'm going to try to go really light and from up high. Oh, I didn't put any over there. Okay. Here, let's do this. Try and shake it off. That's alright. I'm going to get some of this powder on here. There's a lot in the lid. Try and get some back down in the holes. I just want to get some on here while this matte medium is still wet. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the website called Zoo Lily. That's where I got these powders. I think it was a pretty good deal. I can't remember exactly how much I paid for them, but I did check the prices at the time with some couple other places that had them, and it was a decent deal. I'm going to spray it with water again. I'm just curious whether the matte medium will hold it and not let it move as much. I'm going to do this and smush it, see what happens. Well, that's kind of cool. You get that kind of little, I don't know what you want to call it, rivulets, or where the matte medium just kind of pushes the pigment into lines, where you don't get that with just plain water. Not getting anything here. Maybe I just didn't put any powder there, huh? Probably should put some more matte medium there. Don't have a very light hand when it comes to tapping out the powder. Interesting. I like it. Okay, I'm going to dry this layer and then we'll do something on top of that. Okay, this might be a total fail, but I'm going to try Distress Oxide through a stencil and see what we get. I need a... Let's try the brush. Ooh, that's pretty. guess that's okay. Okay, I'm going to do some stamping in the background. I'm going to start with Garden Patina in archival ink, and I just have this like swirly string kind of looking stamp. I didn't get much there. Let's try that again. I don't know if it's, I didn't get enough pressure in the middle, I guess, because, see if I can sort of line it up. Because the pages underneath are uneven, maybe. I'm not sure. That's a little better. Just kind of in the background anyway, so it might be the stamp. This was just one of those cheap ones from AliExpress. So it couldn't have been more than $1 or $2. There, that's better. I think it's just because it's the pages underneath here have dimensional things on them, so it makes it a little hard to stamp on that side. Let's go down here. That's good. Then I'll wipe that off. I have leaf green. Good enough. When you don't know where you're going next, sometimes you have a tendency to overdo where you are. So I like that though, it's different. Let's see. I did drip some water like in the center part of those big circles on top of the Distress Oxide ink and got some little spots, which I like. I want some shadow around these bigger circles. I don't know if this is going to work, but I laid that stencil back down, and every so often within the outer openings I put a Stabilo line with my Stabilo all pencil. And I'm just going to wet it and see if that does the trick. It should. Just, I thought, an easy way to get a circle without freehanding it. That way it just lines up with the stenciled edge. Some places it's a little darker than others, which is okay with me. I'm going to have to turn this though. I'm dipping my brush in the water and then just kind of dabbing it off on a towel so it's not dripping wet. I want to, every once in a while, rinse out the Stabilo color that's in the brush so I don't get too dark. like that. Too much in the brush. Okay, I like that better. Just kind of brings those bigger circles forward. So I'm going to clean off my stencil and let that dry for a minute. I'm going to stick with the circles. I have some Distress paint, peeled paint color with the dauber top, and I'm just going to randomly put some dots here and there. Makes it easy. Let's see what other colors I have that might work. I have the broken china that we used here, so this will work. Don't have a red. I have pink. I don't think I want pink. It's pink pink. I'm going to just stick with these two. That's good, I think. I like that. Give that a dry for a minute. Alright, I'm really going to experiment now. I have matte gel, and I'm gonna just spread it over these big circles. What I'm trying to do, it might move that stabilo a little, what I'm trying to do is create a slipperier surface for myself here, and then I'm going to drop some alcohol ink on these and see what it does. See if it'll move. Sometimes it's just fun to play and see what happens. I don't have a clue. I know if I dropped it straight on this paper, it would just suck into the paper. But with the gel medium on it, it might be slippery enough, maybe, to do something interesting. What do we have here? Lettuce. Let's try the lettuce. We'll do just green on green. I have my Polaroid puffer here, and I'm just going to drop some in. See if it'll move. A little bit. It is still sucking right into the matte medium. Now I don't know if the matte medium was drier, if I would have better luck. Still kind of interesting look. Kind of obliterated my stencil, but hey, it's just all about play, you know. Just see what we can make it do. And it, you know, alcohol inks, if you work with them at all, you know they pretty much do what they want. You can kind of predict, but in this case I had no clue because I've never tried it on, I guess this is kind of like a Bristol paper. And then with the And I could put the stencil back on top of that again once that's dry and bring that pattern back if I want to on top of the alcohol ink, which I could do that. Let's see. I'm going to stay with tone on tone, I think. We'll go with Poppy Field on this one. Now that matte medium, it's still tacky. Smaller drops of alcohol on that one. I'm having trouble with my hand here. Not wanting to squeeze. I have that sometimes. Kind of a arthritic feel. 'Cause I'm old. I guess it's to be expected. Okay, interesting. So that's another layer. This was another one of those AliExpress purchases. Okay, should I go with the ink pad again? Probably, huh? Maybe I will. Let's see, what do I have as far as... actually, maybe I'll do the green on that one and the Garden Patina on that one. The only thing, I don't have any red. Yes, I do. I have red, but that's already red. Maybe we'll try Wild Honey on there. We'll see. See what we're getting. Very faint. Can't really see it that much. Probably much lighter than what I'm going on top of. At best it'll just change the color a little bit. Not sure yet whether I want to do the center. I want to see what this looks like first. Get enough on there to even make any difference. Alright, let's see. Not a big fan of that. I'll try the middle. Push comes to shove, there's always white gesso. Just push it all back. And then do something else on top. I think the matte medium is kind of resisting the ink is what I think is happening here. Which makes sense. So, I'm not even going to clean everything here. I'm just going to go with the same dauber. Let's try the middle of this one first. That's kind of pretty. It also might be that my Garden Patina ink was starting to dry. Maybe it's not as juicy as these other ones. Could be anything. That's why it's called an experiment, right? You just don't know till you try. Which is one of my favorite things to do. And if you watch my channel very much, you know that. It's interesting. Not my favorite thing I've ever done. Now I am going to wipe this off before I go with the yellow, I think. A little bit won't hurt, but going on in the red too, I don't want it to turn brown, so let's see what we get over here. My pages are starting to curl, so I clamped them. I am going to grab a different dauber though. This one should be okay. It's washed. You know you can wash your ink daubers, right? Your sponges. You can just wash them with soap and water. Lay them flat to dry and they'll last a lot longer because you're not letting everything dry in the sponge. I even use these daubers to stencil with acrylic paint and it washes right out. This is going to be much more subtle since it was lighter over the darker red. Yeah. Well, interesting. I'm starting to feel like it's just play with all the art supplies day. Maybe it is. What have we used? We used the pigment powders, Distress Oxide ink, alcohol ink, Distress paint. We stamped in the background, and then we just used archival ink on top of these. I think that's it, along with the matte medium and the Spectrafix. So I think it needs doodles. It needs something. I think I will just go off camera and play with this for a while, and then I'll come back and show you how it ends up. Okay, it's done. I sat and looked at it, and the only thing that just kept coming back to me was the song lyrics from a 60s song by Jefferson Airplane. So that's what it got. When the truth is found to be lies, and all the joy within you dies, don't you want somebody to love? Ain't that the truth? So that's what it got. I like it. It was fun. I like the experiment. And now I know that alcohol ink doesn't really work very well. I kind of figured it wasn't gonna, but I had to try it. But yeah, it was fun. It's a little outside of my wheelhouse. I don't really usually do a lot of real colorful pages, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I love color, so I don't know why I always just go toward the vintage side of things, but I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, give me a thumbs up, share my video out to somebody who might also enjoy it, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you consider doing that. And in the meantime, go make some art. Bye!